We're going to return to magnesium as we teased earlier in the day, this time in combination with the emerging functional ingredient acetyltaurine, and we're going to focus on metabolic health. So please welcome Dr. Mike Weiser. He's the VP of R&D at AIDP and a natural products industry veteran with a background in neuroendocrinology and biomedical science. I'm going to turn the stage over to him now.
Thank you for the introduction, Maggie. I'm excited to introduce a special form of magnesium called magnesium N-acetyltaurine, which is known on the market as Atomag. I'll be covering its unique properties as a bioavailable form of magnesium and N-acetyltaurine. It is this N-acetyltaurine component that has received attention lately in exciting emerging research, which I will cover in this presentation. As far as topics, I'll begin with an overview of the molecular structure of Atomag and its mechanism of action at a cellular level. Then I will cover the different areas of efficacy targeted at several different health benefits, from supporting a healthy mood and response to stressors, to helping with symptoms of premenstrual syndrome, to also supporting satiety and weight management. I will then review some formulation considerations, the current regulatory status globally, and a few select product launches in North America. So what exactly is Atomag? It's an innovative magnesium complex that combines 6.5% elemental magnesium with 93% N-acetyltaurine. This unique compound consists of a magnesium atom bound to two taurine molecules, each with their amino group acetylated, hence the name N-acetyltaurine. This acetylation imparts a lipophilic property to the tail ends of the Atomag complex, enhancing its ability to effectively cross cellular membranes. This modification allows for better penetration of magnesium and N-acetyltaurine into cells and facilitates their passage through the blood-brain barrier, thereby increasing their efficacy at the cellular and neurological levels. We will review the bioavailability data here in just a moment. Now, a key aspect of Atomag lies in its ability to modulate neuroexcitation by providing not only magnesium but also intracellular taurine. The magnesium modulates the activation of NMDA receptors, whose excessive stimulation can lead to neuroexcitation, potentially triggering stress, anxiety, and migraine attacks. The magnesium acts to block or inhibit low-threshold activation of NMDA receptors, which are receptors for the excitatory neurotransmitter glutamate, thereby reducing the amount of calcium influx and overall excitation. Taurine can also interact with GABA receptors and exert neuroprotective and calming effects through inhibitory neurotransmitter signaling modulation. The bioavailability of Atomag has been studied at the cellular level and at the systems level, and I'd like to now give an overview of those studies. On the left side of the slide, at the intestinal level, a study using CACO2 cells, an in vitro model to assess the intestinal bioavailability of a molecule, revealed that Atomag has better absorption than citrate, glycerophosphate, and non-acetylated taurate forms of magnesium. Atomag is represented by the dark blue bar and the other magnesium forms by the light green bars. This is important since unabsorbed magnesium will increase the osmotic pressure, pulling water into the intestinal lumen, which will loosen stools and can cause diarrhea and gastrointestinal discomfort. For brain bioavailability, 2 in vivo studies were conducted in animals. The first one here on the right side of the slide examined acute oral supplementation of Atomag compared to magnesium sulfate, oxide, citrate, and malate. 8 hours after supplementation, the researchers found that only Atomag, represented by the third blue bar here, was effective in increasing brain magnesium levels. The other forms had no effect. The second study, this time in mice, showed that oral supplementation with Atomag increases magnesium levels in the brain 24 hours later in a dose-independent manner, at all dosage levels tested, whereas very high doses of magnesium glycinate and citrate were required. There were no benefits seen at lower dosages for those forms. The results from these studies strongly indicate that Atomag is a highly bioavailable form of magnesium and can increase brain magnesium levels within hours and up to 24 hours after acute dosing. What is also very important to consider is the bioavailability of the N-acetyltaurine ligand from Atomag. As we'll examine later in the presentation, this is an important component of Atomag from a biological mechanism of action perspective. A study conducted in collaboration with the University of Liège examined the permeability of ADAMAG through an in vitro model of the blood-brain barrier. They measured the amount of N-acetyltaurine from ADAMAG or unacetylated taurine from magnesium taurinate that passed through this simulated blood-brain barrier across a 24-hour period. The results depicted in the graph on the right show that the permeability of N-acetyltaurine from ADAMAG was significantly higher than that of taurine derived from magnesium taurinate during the first 4 hours of the experiment. Given that the in vivo half-life of taurine is approximately 1 hour, as indicated by the T1/2 on the left-hand side of the slide, it is likely that most of the taurine from magnesium taurinate would already be eliminated after 4 hours before it has even a chance to cross the blood-brain barrier. Thanks to its optimized structure, ADAMAG ensures efficient absorption before this early absorption critical phase, thereby maximizing its potential to positively support nervous system function. Now I want to review the different areas of health and well-being that ADAMAG can support. One potential health benefit is in supporting a healthy response to stressors and supporting mood. We know that magnesium supplementation is used anecdotally for stress and mood support, and ADAMAG is a great bioavailable source of magnesium. To further support this, in a preclinical model of stress-related behavior, a study revealed that the increase in magnesium levels in the brain following the intake of ADAMAG leads to a more pronounced reduction in behaviors linked to negative mood states, as compared to the other magnesium salts like magnesium citrate and malate. To assess this effect, the researchers used the open field test, a protocol designed to measure general locomotor activity, stress-like behavior levels, and the willingness of animals to explore. More exploration is linked to lower levels of stress. The results showed that mice treated with ADAMAG exhibited increased exploration, a significant decrease in stress-like behaviors, which suggests it may support a positive mood state and healthy response to stress. Now I want to move on to premenstrual symptoms and how ADAMAG can help support women who suffer from PMS. This is an important area of health and wellness. During the menstrual cycle, there are rapidly changing hormone levels and physical changes within the uterine lining shedding that can lead to many negative symptoms. Nearly half of all women of reproductive age globally experience symptoms of premenstrual syndrome or PMS, and approximately a fifth of reproductive age women report symptoms severe enough to significantly disrupt their daily activities. Common PMS symptoms include headache, irritability, bloating, weight gain, and food cravings, which peak around the start of menstruation. The efficacy of ADAMAG on symptoms of PMS was studied in 19 women between 18 and 45 years of age, all of whom exhibited symptoms of PMS and had inadequate intake of dietary or supplementary magnesium. The participants received 385 milligrams of ADAMAG twice per day, once in the morning and once in the evening, amounting to a total of 770 milligrams of ADAMAG per day. Their symptoms were assessed by a physician using a PMS symptom questionnaire during a baseline menstrual cycle, and then again at each of 3 consecutive menstrual cycles during oral supplementation with ADAMAG. What the researchers found in this study was that across the board, ADAMAG significantly improved the ratings for 20 observed symptoms of premenstrual syndrome. The graph here shows a decrease in score, which is measured on a scale of 1 to 6, with higher being worse. So a decrease in a full integer is a substantial improvement in symptom severity. The light blue bars represent the change from baseline to cycle 1. The medium blue bars represent the change from baseline to cycle 2. And the dark blue bars represent the change from baseline to cycle 3. Here I'm showing only 11 of the 20 symptoms for ease of viewing the data. As you can see, with each progressive cycle, ADAMAG improved all of these symptoms, including mood swings, irritability, anxiety, depression, headache, fatigue, dizziness, confusion, insomnia, swelling, and bloating. Another health benefit where ADAMAG may be helpful is for migraine support. A study evaluated the effects of ADAMAG on an animal model of photic migraines, where bright light can induce neural hyperactivity. In this study, researchers used magnesium-deficient mice and gave them oral supplementation with ADAMAG. There was also a control group which were not magnesium deficient. They observed that in the absence of photostimulation and the baseline condition, the magnesium-deficient mice already exhibited increased neural hyperactivity and heightened locomotor activity compared to the control mice. After photostimulation, the control mice displayed a habituation behavior to reduce their activity, which is normal, whereas the magnesium deficient mice continue to show further increased neural hyperactivity and hypersensitivity to the photic stimuli. Supplementation with Atomag in magnesium deficient mice subjected to photic stimulation reduced this neural hyperactivity, suggesting that Atomag can counteract the hyperactivity and hypersensitivity related to migraine effects in the case of magnesium deficiency. Confirming the results of the preclinical model, there's a case study suggesting that Atomag can help support migraine symptoms during menstruation. In this case, a 27-year-old woman who had been experiencing menstrual migraine since the age of 17 was given a dietary supplement with 700 milligrams of Atomag and 30 milligrams of coenzyme Q10 per day for 2 months. After this 2-month time period, she reported reduced migraine attacks, a better mood, lower levels of stress, and reduced breast pain. This case also corroborates the clinical trial performed with women suffering from PMS symptoms. Finally, I want to introduce an exciting new emerging area of benefit for Atomag, which is satiety and weight management. Before we get to the emerging research on satiety, I want to introduce more information about the N-acetyltaurine portion of the Atomag, which I will call NAT occasionally. On the right-hand side of the slide is a depiction of what happens during endurance exercise. During endurance exercise, fatty acids are oxidized in muscle tissue as an energy source, which elevates acetyl-CoA, which in turn then inhibits the utilization of glucose. This is not good for muscle tissue during exercise, since it needs to access and metabolize glucose in addition to lipids. To combat this, NAT is produced to shuttle acetate out of the body and allow glycolysis to proceed. Now, on the lower left side of the slide is a graph of serum NAT concentrations in men who ran a full marathon. You can see that serum NAT levels are elevated at 1 hour post-marathon compared to baseline and 24 hours after the marathon back to baseline, nearly tripling in concentration 1 hour after. So in these marathoners, NAT is being produced to help the muscles across multiple forms of energy. What's interesting and indirectly ties this all back to satiety and weight management is that research has also shown that immediately following endurance exercise, there's typically a reduction in appetite and food intake. So this raises the question, could NAT be directly involved in appetite and weight maintenance? Recently, a study out of Stanford University identified an enzyme that is responsible for the conversion of N-acetyltaurine to taurine called PETR. You can see on the left-hand side of the slide the metabolic pathway to taurine from cysteine, but also the pathway to taurine from NAT through the newly identified actions of the PETR enzyme. Interestingly, this was originally an orphan enzyme positively linked to body mass index. With this knowledge, we now know that elevated levels of NAT can be converted back to taurine and the acetate excreted by the kidneys. But what happens if you block this conversion? Well, what the Stanford research shows is that in animals that do not have a functional PETR enzyme called PETR knockout or KO animals, exhibit elevated levels of N-acetyltaurine throughout the body, including the brain, where it's elevated in the cortex, hypothalamus, and the brainstem, as you can see on the left-hand side of the slide. The orange bars are the wild type, or WT animals, who have a normal functioning PETR enzyme. The blue bars are the knockout animals with no expression of the PETR enzyme. And these animals have a hard time shuttling NAT back to taurine without PETR present. Additionally, on the right-hand side of the slide, with mice fed a high-fat diet, those without the PETR enzyme, the knockout animals, ate less food and gained less body weight over a 56-week period as compared to the wild-type mice with a full functioning PETR enzyme. This suggests that the elevated levels of NAT in the knockout mice is likely causing this reduction in appetite and reduction in weight gain. These results now beg the question, what happens with oral supplementation with N-acetyltaurine? To test this, the Stanford researchers gave different oral doses of N-acetyltaurine to healthy normal mice. You can see on the left-hand side of the slide that an acute oral dose of NAT in mice increases plasma levels of NAT in a dose-responsive manner, with peak concentration at 2 hours following supplementation and remaining elevated out to 5 hours post-dosing. Importantly, on the right-hand side of the slide, they also observed a dose-dependent decrease in food intake and accordingly a dose-dependent decrease in body weight after 7 days in lean mice fed a normal diet. These results and the results of the experiments with the knockout animals are a strong indication that N-acetyltaurine can increase satiety, which results in lower body weights regardless of diet type. Finally, the researchers examined the effect of intraperitoneal injection of NAT compared to an injection of GLP-1 peptides. What they found was that both NAT and GLP-1 injections after a period of 7 days resulted in decreased food intake and body weights compared to a control group. The gray bar is the control group, the orange bar is the GLP-1 peptide group, and the blue bar is the N-acetyltaurine group. So this research suggests that NAT is another endogenous factor involved in satiety and weight management. Now, to close the loop on ADAMAG and weight management, I want to circle back to the PMS clinical study we reviewed earlier in this presentation. What I didn't show you then is the PMS symptoms related to satiety. We see here that across the menstrual cycles, ADAMAG supplementation reduced the symptom of increased appetite, meaning the women experienced less of the increased hunger they originally had at baseline. Additionally, they had reductions in weight gain and decreased cravings for sweets in particular. The recent research from Stanford confirms these findings and suggests a mechanism by which ADAMAG can support healthy appetite and weight management. As far as formulations go, the optimal dose for ADAMAG is 770 milligrams. Additionally, ADAMAG is water soluble, it's tasteless, and can be used in a variety of formats, including capsules, tablets, sachets, gummies, etc. So it's very versatile across all supplement formats. For regulatory status, ADAMAG is approved in Europe, Switzerland, Algeria, the United States, Canada, Brazil, and Malaysia, covering a wide swath of global consumers. There are many product launches across the globe. Here I'm highlighting a few from the North American market in particular. These include products aimed at supporting PMS symptoms to those promoting healthy sleep and a calm mood. There are also magnesium blends utilizing ADAMAG as an anchor magnesium ingredient, and then those promoting the bioavailability of the taurine ligand itself. I'm sure we'll see more evolve speaking to the new science around N-acetyltaurine and weight management. So in summary, ADAMAG is a combination of magnesium and N-acetyltaurine, which is highly bioavailable. It has scientifically proven effects on stress management and mood, premenstrual syndrome symptoms, and emerging research implicates it in supporting satiety and healthy weight management. Additionally, it has no side effects. It's tasteless, it's water soluble, making it very easy to formulate into a wide variety of supplement formats. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your attention. And if you would like any further information, please don't hesitate to send an email to customercare.aidp.com or head over to the website at aidp.com. Thank you very much.
All right, excellent. We have a few minutes for some questions, so please post your questions into the Q&A panel and we will get to those. And I think Zach is joining us as well. Before we dive into the questions, a quick poll question for our audience. When you think of the benefits of taurine or magnesium, which of these come to mind? Improved sleep, calmer mind and reduced stress, muscle recovery support, increased satiety, or enhanced focus and cognition. So where are you at with this one? Give you just a few more seconds to answer that, and then we'll see where we stand. What's the pulse on these ingredients, these nutrients? All right, let's see what we got. So in the lead, calmer mind and reduced stress, followed by muscle recovery support, and then a tie for sleep quality and enhanced focus. All right, thank you guys for that. We have questions rolling in, so let's start to power through these. Are there any community studies completed or planned across the markets that were mentioned where the ingredient is available?
That's a great question. So the PMS study that we reviewed, that was completed in Brazil, which is one of the regions. But going forward, certainly we have additional clinical studies planned that will take that into account.
All right, excellent. Another comment about what a great session it was. We love to hear that. Thank you. I totally agree. Would you anticipate similar results with taurine compared to N-acetyltaurine?
Yeah, so Maggie, that's a good question. Taurine has certainly gained popularity as a supplement, as we know. for muscle and heart health primarily. There are links between taurine and longevity as well. However, the dosages required for those effects can be several grams. So, knowing that the body contains about 70 grams of taurine, you're effectively adding drops of water to a pool, so to speak. N-acetyltaurine, however, is at much lower levels in the body. This suggests that it's bioactive at low levels compared to taurine. And due to the acetylation, it has different and unique actions compared to taurine. So it appears, based on the Stanford research, that NAT works specifically at the level of the brainstem to inhibit appetite, and the acetylated form of taurine is required for that effect. So.
All right. And how about can the ingredient be combined with other magnesium forms?
Certainly, I think we see some combos on the market. As long as you stay under the upper limit for magnesium supplementation, which is 350 milligrams of elemental magnesium. One dose of Atomag will provide roughly 50 milligrams of elemental magnesium. So you can certainly combine it with other magnesium forms. A popular combination is Atomag with magnesium threonate or magtine. Um, that can be a powerful brain plus metabolism and PMS combination. Additionally, combinations with magnesium citrate for laxative effects will allow PMS benefits with the Atomag and increase gut motility with the magnesium citrate for those who are dealing with infrequent bowel movements during certain times in the menstrual cycle.
All right, now question here on a hot topic. Given the popularity of the GLP-1 medications, do you think Atomag would have a unique position for weight management?
Yeah, I mean, GLP is certainly really popular. It's in the news. We're all thinking about it in the supplement industry. I think it can be a good solution for those who are cycling or coming off of GLP-1 agonist therapy. I see its power being in maintaining a healthy weight, whether that be to maintain the weight that was lost, or perhaps those who want to curb appetite during certain parts of the day. Maybe you've got, cravings in the evening or in the morning. There are some parallels to GLP-1 agonists, right? In that N-acetyltaurine and magnesium are both already present in the human body, just like GLP-1. So Atomag is made up of components that are endogenous to the human body and are involved in many biochemical pathways. And so the research will continue to build around Atomag and metabolism going forward, but there's certainly some parallels with the GLP-1 industry.
All right, excellent. So before we wrap up, Zach or Mike, any final takeaways for us?
I'll go. Yeah, Mike, that was a great presentation. And all I can say with Atomag is, as Rafe mentioned, I do use it. It's kind of an ingredient that's two in one, really. As you just saw with the new science around the acetyltaurine, that's a new molecule that has a lot of potential and a lot of benefit. So initially, we thought Atomag was the only magnesium, which it is studied for women's health and PMS specifically. There are various magnesium salts in the market, but to have one that's so bioavailable, but also has a significant amount of acetyltaurine as a ligand, really makes it stand out in the market. And we're really excited to continue innovating and seeing more product launches, as Mike showed. In North America alone, there are tens and tens of launches, and globally, we keep seeing a lot of innovation with this ingredient.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you both.